Welcome. This is a podcast episode of the Real Boys Talk series called Shooting the Shit with the Brothers of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So what that is we come together, the Brothers of Sigma Omega Phi and Phi Fraternity Incorporated, we come together to talk about different subjects. And the subject we've chosen today to talk about is studs killing their girlfriends. We all understand that there's some things that we might not agree with when we're in relationships, and we understand the struggles of being in a relationship. But it has gone, the ultimate domestic violence is killing someone that you say you love so much and that you don't want to give up. You don't want to end the relationship. So today we're going to talk about those different elements and the things that we read, because what we did, the Brothers of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated, was we actually have a couple of situations, or I would say, I guess, relationships that ended, and that stud could not get over it and ended up killing that female. So we are going to have that conversation. Again, I tell everyone, when it starts with us, just like we did in previous years, going into 2025, this language is open. So if you are not comfortable with rawness, directness, or realness, this possibly is not the podcast you need to be listening to tonight. And also, we are very serious about making sure that the growth of the masculine presenting female, especially African American, is necessary. And hopefully, through this podcast, you listeners will take what we are talking about, whether you agree with us or not, take it offline and have that conversation with your friends. This right here is a very important conversation, because no one, and I'm going to say it again, no one should take someone's life. So let's begin. My bros, welcome, welcome. If you'll all unmute so you can say hello to the people. Um, if Maximilian, if you will greet the people, all I want you to do is tell your name and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm in Florida.
Big C.
Yo, this Big C, Georgia.
And I have Little K. That's what I've been calling her. And she didn't know that, but that's my new name for her. It's Little K.
What's up? It's K5, Georgia.
What's up, Perseverance?
What's up? This is Percy. I'm from Georgia.
Intensify.
Hello, everybody. This is Intense C5, and I'm just here to say hey for everybody from Alabama by way of Georgia.
All right, all right. As you can see, we got the Southern gentle women on the line tonight. So, we get what, as you all read the information and understood, and the things that you probably have already heard about. Let's start with the fact of, we all know that relationships are very hard, and we're reading is that when a film wants to, or the other partner, let's say that, because sometimes it's not a film. In these cases we were dealing with films, but overall it could have been anybody that they were in a relationship with. What, in your opinion, what do you think stood out to you the most? Was it that the fact of the ending of the relationship? Was it the environment that you thought might have been what did you get from what you were seeing? Did you find a pattern, or did you feel like, hey, it just randomly is happening? Anybody can take that.
Well, I'll say something. I feel like it's just number one, because we're, I should say, the more dominant women. Um, People tend to take that to too far of a level. They think that that it just because you're the masculine identifying female, or the more dominant female in your relationship, that you need to put your hands on folks and kind of try to make yourself feel like you tough, and try to get the lesser dominant person to put you on a type of level to where you it make you feel more like how they perceive themselves as a king. Um, I can go more into that a little bit deeper in just a moment.
Anyone want to tag on to that?
Um,
Yeah.
what I saw a pattern of was heartbreak. A lot of them had their heart broken before they went out and did what they did. Either they were cheated on or they felt like they wasn't wanted anymore. It was some type of um emotions played a part in those decisions. So that's what I saw in a lot of those cases.
It was the fact that I have no choice but to let the relationship go. And that made it, you feel like that's what snapped on that, on most of those, uh, most of the time, is that that's what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Anyone else want to tag on it? I do think that you're very much on it, Big C. And a lot of it, I didn't get the feeling that the stud was cheating on anyone. I did see a couple that I believe, or one or two, where the young lady cheated and then decided to leave. And that's when issues came about. Um, and I think that you have to look at both. The issue of cheating, do you all think that that is a form of domestic violence?
Yeah, I do.
A form of, oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I do
Okay.
because that's what caused the violence, the cheating.
Hmm. Do you think that it's because two women, even though we're masculine presenting, we are, I mean, we're still women. So do you think that our emotional, I guess, makeup doesn't allow us to just kind of like go off in a corner, lick our wounds, put band-aids on it, and move on?
No, because women are emotional beings. So, like, they take stuff to the heart.
Go ahead.
But they think just because we're studs that we supposed to take so much
Oh, talk to
and
me.
that we're not emotional.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's a good one.
Okay.
So can I play devil's advocate here?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Um, when do we hold ourselves accountable on what we take in a relationship?
That's a good
When are
question.
we gonna establish the boundaries, right? Because I'm not going to, now that I'm older, let me rephrase that, because when I was younger, I was about the bullshit. Feed me all the crazy. I fed off of it. Toxic type of stuff. I fed off of it. But now that I'm older, there are certain things that I'm not going to accept at all. Um, if you cheat on me or whatever, I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get mad enough to where I'm going to be locked up for the rest of my life and I'm not going to be able to wash my ass every day. I'm not going to be able to eat my motherfucking McRib every December. Like seriously, like that's the
Right.
stuff that I think about. You know what I'm saying? Um when are we going to hold ourselves accountable to regulate our emotions and have those boundaries set? Because you only got to tell me no once. You only got to show me that you don't want me once. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna keep chasing after people. I'm not gonna let people keep shitting on me. Mm-mm.
Definitely.
What is that saying? Fool me once,
Shame
shame
on
on
you.
you. Fool me
Shame on
twice,
you,
shame
fool me
on
twice.
me. Like,
Oh,
when are we gonna hold ourselves accountable and not accept that type of stuff?
Now, I will say this. One of the stories that we actually had was an older person with a younger, very younger person. So
Mm-hmm.
let's, and I'm gonna say based off, let's make sure that what Max said is very true. And it's not the age. Please understand, just because you are 40 or 50, that's your age you've been here. That is not the age of your relationship maturity. See the
Okay.
difference? I'm gonna give you an example. I'm 56, but my overall maturity level just became a 42-year-old. Okay. My relationship age in my maturity is about a 36-year-old. Do you see where I'm going? I have not reached the true maturity level of a 56-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd actually bring that number down a little bit. You ain't in your 30s. I definitely bring me and you've had start bring that down some.
don't tell nobody. No, but truly, like I used to feel like, and I understood the fact of, and I'm not saying that the younger means that I'm not mature. It's just letting you know that that's the level of crazy I possibly will sustain or take. And I think I agree with Max in the fact that yeah, when I was younger, oh, I was wild with the shits and the and the crazy, getting in the car, chasing you down, figuring out where you at the club, walking around with the footy, the pajamas on with the big feet. Oh, I've
Mm-mm.
done it.
Mm-mm.
Been that crazy. And I mean, I never went that far though. I mean, I might go in the club, and yes, I really wasn't in pajamas, but I've been in the club, and I've been like, I knew that she gonna be in the club. She gonna be in the club. I know she coming. And then when she come, then I confront you, and then I walk out. But I'm hurt. I get in the car, crawl all the way home. Oh my God, because I'm hurt. But also, I let it go. I didn't keep harvesting or holding on to it, or even, and I try very hard not to be in those spaces that individual is in until I was able to heal. And what I mean by heal is not what I mean by me healing now. Totally different. Me healing then was me just not like, okay, I'm just gonna go numb and I'm not gonna deal with you. Not healing, truly healing my heart, if that makes sense.
So do you
Can we
think that?
sprinkle Oh, I'm sorry. Can we
Go ahead.
sprinkle in some undiagnosed mental health issues as well?
That's what I
Absolutely.
was just about to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please.
Absolutely, yes, most
And
definitely.
and the reason I say that is because I just know um not just people in our community, but we don't like to talk about our issues. We don't like to talk about therapy. People feel like therapy is such a bad thing, or some form of mental illnesses are bad things, right? I'm a big advocate. I'm a big push for mental health. And I'm starting to learn that you don't just talk to people when you're in your dark times. You still have to talk to people when you're happy and in your good times too. And I think that's where we mess up a lot. But let's sprinkle in some of this undiagnosed mental health issues on top of that, because my bruh told me uh this past weekend, hurt people hurt people, hurt people hurt people. And if you been in an arena where there has always been violence, that's what you're going to portray, that's what you're going to do. But then you also have those individuals where, like, dang, I would have never thought, I would have never thought, like, old girl would have did that. So what happens in those cases? Like, what does that look like? Loving someone to death. Like, you would have never thought it before. Not that person.
Right. And I don't think I think that people might have ignored those little red flags throughout their life. Each relationship had to have some sprinkle of or suspect of the ultimate, right? You didn't just wake up and she said she didn't want to be with you and he killed her. You have had some things throughout your past relationships, little sprinkle here, and maybe that person was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna deal with that," and they left the person. Um, and then the red flag just grew and got bigger. And I think that a lot of times we've all heard it because we've heard it in the heterosexual community. I can fix her. I'm the one who can fix her. I'm the one who can give her all the love that she needs and she'll be okay. She's only like that because she hasn't had anyone to love her like I can love her. That's sometimes a femme's viewpoint, just like they do with men. I'm the one. I know he beat all the mother women, but that's not, he ain't gonna do that to me because he loves me. And then he does these things because that's him. That truly is him without any help. And I think that sometimes I do believe I am a big farmer of therapy. I do believe that maybe we're at a point where in dating, if you're properly dating someone, you should see those red flags come about. And there's nothing wrong if you choose to stay, but you might say get you some therapy or us get some therapy.
But most people, most of us, most studs, my bad, bro. Most studs, and I know, I can't say most, I'll say me particularly. I don't want everybody in my business. So that's the biggest issue that most uh studs say when you're thinking about therapy, you're like, I don't need everybody in my business. I really don't. So who would you but and who can you trust to give your business to and not hear it next week or not hear it from the next somebody?
On somebody else. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
true.
so when it comes to professional therapists, right, it is against the law for them to share any of that information that you share with them. That's what they are trained to do. This person doesn't know you. They're not supposed to know. You know what I'm saying? Like they have no skin in the game. Um, Technically, they are therapists really don't give you advice. Like they don't tell you which way to go. They give you certain tools and avenues and things of that nature. Um, they provide you resources to get you to where you want to go. It's up to you to do the research on who and what is right for you. For me, I always try to find a Black female because I feel like a Black female is more relatable than an old white lady or a white man. I find someone who is LGBT friendly. Um, uh, I was able to research her credentials, where she studied, where she practiced, um, what state she can practice in, all of that stuff. So it's up to you to do the research, but professionally, is I would trust them more than I trust my bros, honestly, because I with my bros, I know it's gonna come back to me. I know it's gonna come back to me. With that therapist, she is licensed, she is trained, and it's gonna go to the grave with her,
And a
unless
lot
I'm
of
breaking
times
the law.
in that situation when and I understand what Max says about it's gonna come back to me. A lot of times it's not meant to harm when it comes back to you.
No, I'm not saying
You know what
that.
I'm
I'm
saying?
not saying
Well,
that
no,
in a
I know
bad
that's what you
way.
weren't saying it like that because sometimes it's
Yeah,
like you might tell me I don't really know the answer, so I might be like, "Hey, bruh, such and such." You know what I'm saying? It's not meant to be ugly. It's meant to find a way for you to possibly for me to answer some things to help you. Unfortunately, unfortunately, that is not what the person who told you the information wanted. Okay. They possibly just wanted you to listen. They didn't want you to go and try to find other brothers that might be able to help you. And I get that. And I agree with you when it comes to certain situations, guys, and the things that you feel inside, your bruh can only take you so far in that journey.
yeah,
Please
Mm-hmm.
understand. And then understand that when you give that information to your bruh or to a friend that's really close to you, they take on that, okay? Because they love you, okay?
Right.
So they take
Right.
into that and then they struggle with trying to figure out how to help you. So and honestly, when you get to a point, and I'm gonna be real clear, those that are listening to us, when your mind starts thinking about taking your life or their life, you are beyond the call of going to a therapist, which mean what I mean by that is you need to have already been to the therapist. So now if you're at that point today, please go. Please go to urgent care. Go to the hospital. You can go to the emergency room. You can tell them, calmly tell them what's going on, and they will still help. They will get there's a therapist there in the emergency room. They will still help you, or go and find insurance wise. Insurances do carry that mental health piece now. Go find help. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Big C.
Just to piggyback off of what y'all was saying about feelings, like we've been trained by our culture to suppress our feelings because as a child, what your mama tell you, what happens in this house stays in this house.
Mm.
So that over years, over time, what happens is like one of the most common manifestations of generational trauma is the emotional repression of your feelings. So that leads to the I guess the undiagnosed mental health issues. Like it becomes generational if it makes sense, like what I'm saying.
Oh, it does. Because
Okay,
think
so
about
that makes
this.
sense.
Throw this out to you. Think about the some people that we might be friends with or that we know have relationships and they're very physical. If you understand what I mean, it's very much where you going, what you doing. I need to know who's on your phone. Very controlling and very physical. Um,
Right.
and that lead could, it doesn't mean it will, it could lead to where these people win.
Right. And I was gonna say too, just to add onto it, a lot of people don't seek out therapy, and from whether it's a therapist or a friend or family, is they're embarrassed.
Why do you think,
They're embarrassed. But it's
why
like
why do you think that is?
because it's like um, why
Judgment.
why am I? Yeah, judgment. Yeah, why judgment? That's number one. And why am I the one going through this? I know how to handle stuff. I'm not slow. I know how to handle things. I know how to you know break down things, come back to you, talk. I know how to talk about my feelings so the people know, how I feel about things at all times. Yeah, I know how to do that, but when it comes and then when you actually need help, you don't recognize you need help. So that's another thing, recognition. But I think personally, it leads to embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to seem like you don't want everybody to know you're a little off, a little crazy. Even though all of us have a little crazy in us, you don't want people to know that about you.
I
I
understand.
I think like you don't I think as stud we don't really talk about our feelings or whatever because oftentimes like we don't really want to hear the truth and we don't really want to hear nothing. Oftentimes they just want you to listen. I had to learn the hard way because everybody know me. I'm always a problem solver. I'm always trying to help everybody solve their problems. But shit, I had to be told like shut the fuck up and just listen. That's all I want you to do at this point is listen to me. So as I shut the fuck up and I was listening, the shit just went crazy. Like you told me. So what you got to say now? You told me to shut up and listen. Like what do you want me to do? You want me to give you some pointers? You want me to counsel you? You want me to? What do you want me to do? Or you want me to listen? What do you want me to do? Like that's like people are fearful of putting other folks in their business. That's just me.
Mm, mm. Let me give you this one, and I want to know y'all opinion on this because it was a little heinous. It was a 40-year-old stud who killed her girlfriend because the girlfriend didn't want to be with her anymore. The girlfriend was 21 years old. 40 years old, and you're dating a 21-year-old. The stud left the body out in the street after she shot her. This was done in Gary, Indiana. Any thoughts?
My thoughts is first of all, why was she going? Well, age? I guess these days, age ain't nothing but a number. But as an adult, why are you going with a 21-year-old? That's number one. Because you're way more mature than that 21-year-old. So you already have a mindset over her.
Hmm.
But then why would you but you know what? This this conversation itself, like to me, I'm kind of lost because I've never had to deal with nothing like this. Nothing like this I've never done with. So me personally, I'm just kind of listening and chiming in, but I don't know how to relate.
And it's okay though, because here's the thing, Percy, is that you don't know how to relate. And I'm thankful that you don't know how to relate to this story. None of us on here know how to relate to it. But we understand that there's somewhere somebody needs to hear that we're concerned about it. Number one, we are concerned. Us on this live on this episode, we are concerned. And that is where I'm looking at, is that we don't have the answers, no. But what we do have is to let you know that, hey, if you and I understand the ashamed piece, or the I don't want people in my business, but at this point your mental health is at stake. You got to get some help. Your best friend is just that, your best friend. If it's a he or she, they're not therapists. Now, if you got a therapist that's your best friend, then you're winning. But how many of us have that? So I do get it, and I understand the effect of listening, and but if you're in a positive relationship, how'd you get in that positive relationship? We have to be able to tell people that, because there could be just a small thing, just a little tweak that stud hears from us about how we are in healthy relationships. Okay, that's what I think is important as well. I do agree. I'm a little bit skeptical of you're 40 years old with a 21-year-old. No offense to anyone who's 21. But I don't have nothing to talk to you about, ma'am. You don't know who the Commodores are. You have
I
no
think it was
idea.
more of a manipulative tactic
Who talk to me?
because
Talk to me.
what else could you want with someone who's that much younger than you other than to control?
That's what I was about to say. Yes. Just
Okay.
So
because
that's
they
all.
can
And
control.
once you felt that you had lost control, you did whatever to regain control, and that was the ultimate control and death.
And that's what I was,
Interesting.
and that's exactly where I was going when I said what I said in the very beginning. That's where I was going. I couldn't
Okay.
quite put the words into it, but that's exactly what it was. It's
Okay.
a control thing. People feel like
Yeah.
they can they have something over you. They can just tell you what to do. They want to feel like that they are more, like I said, more dominant than you. They want to for some odd reason, I'm losing my words. Maybe because I'm tired. I've been on the road all day.
We understand, bro. We understand. But
But
you are making you're hitting the point. I understand.
that's
So
exactly what I was saying.
controlling, interesting. So possibly, because we don't know any of the people that we read about. Okay, in our research, we don't know them. So if you do look at it on a control level, what kind of what suggestions do we have for those studs that are in that position, or is there anything you can do if you are that kind of person that you have to control what your girl does, where your girl's at, who her friends can and cannot be, how long can she stay out? And please
You have,
understand, it's a realistic question right there, or statement. So your stud's gonna tell you, hey, you ain't got but 2 hours to hang out with your girl because I don't like her.
A narcissist don't know that they're narcissists.
Oh,
So
They won't
so you
claim it. They won't
right.
claim it.
They
They
want to
know
tell
it. They
you know
just
what I'm
won't
saying?
claim it.
Yeah, they
interesting.
don't. They don't. They don't think they shit stink. So
Oh,
how can you how do you feel like you can address somebody like that?
see, y'all teaching me because I
and
don't know
then
anything.
and they will use that as a manipulative tack to tell you,
Exactly.
oh, it's just I'm calling you because I love you. I'm checking on you because I want to make sure you okay. But the whole time it's a controlling factor, but they'll mask it behind manipulation tactics.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's okay? So relationships that how do you is there anything that we can help somebody notice when those things happen? Or is it just you need to know the person better, don't sleep with them
When
right away? Or
when
what?
you see a red flag, don't think this is Six Flags. Run. You are not at Six Flags. This is not Wild Adventures.
Exactly.
Run. But no,
Don't
we
ignore it.
have to first learn what companionship and partnership is in order to practice it, in order to actually have true companionship. You have to first know what it is. You have to first understand who you're with. Like you say, get to know them before you get in the bed with them or before you get in too deep with them. A lot of people have a lot of trauma that they have not healed from, and your childhood trauma is what shapes your adulthood. It's what shapes your attitude. It has everything to do with how you act in your adult life, how you dealt with childhood trauma, or how you didn't have to deal with it, whatever. But um we deal with a lot of people that's where that hurt people come from, because a lot of that hurt is before I even met you, but because I haven't healed from it, you reap the benefits of this hurt. So we have to get to know people before we get in too deep with them, and also recognize them red flags like in the beginning, know what signs to look for.
Okay. I also, let's say I ended a relationship. I broke up with her last week, and I'm in a new relationship next week. As a stud, I'm still taking that same pattern to the next person. I don't think I need any, I don't think that was my fault. I felt like, she just didn't know what she had and all that, she'll be back. How do I get that person to understand that they're toxic? Or is it, and I don't mean me, I don't mean us, like us literally doing it, but how does someone realize that, oops, excuse me, that they are sitting in a toxic environment themselves? They are, as a masculine. Do you
They
think?
have, they have to be willing to accept. They have to be, first of all, willing to accept the truth. Because a lot of times, like I said, people are in that mind frame, like they can't do no wrong. Like it's not them.
They're
It's the
blinded.
other person. It's never them. It's not me. It's them. So when you come to them and you tell them you need help, bro. You know what I'm saying? You need help.
Mm,
It's some patterns that I'm recognizing in you that's not cool, and you like this. For you was the same way when you was with this other girl, you know, and you really need to talk to somebody. You need to help, and then well, you will tell them that, and that the person will end up getting mad, and then not saying anything to you, or they would say, "No, that ain't me. I'm not like that. It was them. They never think that it's they're the issue." So
mm.
when it comes to that right there, shoot, the only thing I can say is you're gonna have to pray for them. Like give it to the Lord. Give it to
I
the
That's
mean,
Lord.
like
'Cause
Big
look,
Sis said. That's like
ain't
Big
nothing
Sis
wrong with
said.
that
That's a
either.
that's
Ain't
a
nothing wrong.
narcissist.
that's a
That's what it
narcissist.
says. Right. They are narcissists. They don't
Exactly.
see anything wrong with what they're doing.
Don't see anything wrong with them. So you have to pray for folks like that. Tell you still,
Right.
but I feel like you still tell them as a friend. If you're a
Right.
true friend, you still tell them how you feel about how they acting. You still try to tell them, look, you really need some help, on X, Y, and Z, and point it out to them. Like give them some examples and everything, because a lot they're not gonna even think that what they're doing is wrong. You be like, well, bro, last week you did X, Y, and Z to old girl. You don't, can can you tell me what else you could have done in this situation to make this any better? Because you know, right now you on a track of going, you doing the same thing, and
Mm.
then and if they can't accept it, but then you push it to the side and you pray for them and hope for the best and pray that they get their help, because it ain't nothing that you gonna be able to say to them, and that's the sad part about it. People
So,
watch too much. People
But it's
watch,
according to who you're talking
huh?
to. It's it's according to who you're talking to, what kind of influence you have on that person. Set it up a little. What kind of influence you have on that person. Sometimes you could be the voice of reasoning for that person.
okay.
And your words go deeper than what you really think. So you encourage them to go and get help. That will help sometimes. And then sometimes you may have those who kind of don't want to face the fact that they are doing what they're doing. And then they're gonna just shut it out anyway. But you're right, just keep praying for them and hoping the best for them.
So, in other words, I'm going to ask if this is how y'all, in the statements that you all made, that means that we, us, other studs, other masculine presenting, when we have, as we make friends with each other, which we should, instead of looking at each other like we're all crazy in the club, of course, but when we make friends with each other, we should be honest with our friends. And then we should also, and that way we become not really totally accountable, but we are accountable because you're my friend. So I feel like I need to be that way because in society right now there's very little humanity. If you haven't noticed, it's probably a half a drop of humanity out there. So those of us who have more insight, we do need to be able to care, not jeopardize our healed selves. We got to remember that as well, but we do need to look out for those that are in our circle that we know that are possibly toxic or can be toxic. I also want to ask you all a question because here's one that we had that we read that we are going to kind of talk a little bit about is that this stud killed her girlfriend. The girlfriend was about to graduate from college. And the girlfriend, the femme tried to break up with the girlfriend who was 24. Um, and the stud shot her and then killed herself. This was in Huntsville, Alabama. My question to you is two. Does gun laws have anything to do with this? And also, they shot themselves after they shot their girlfriend. We don't know the psyche. We don't know there's no, of course, we don't have any background to go through, just have that statement. In essence, could that all been prevented? Do
I
you
mean,
I'm saying in a happy world, of course, we all know yes, it could have been. In
yeah, of course,
happy,
if we didn't have guns, yeah, but then she could have got stabbed to death. Like, I mean, it could have been so many what ifs, right?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna blame it on gun laws because I
I'm just
mean,
wondering. I mean, I'll put it out there
even
for you to
even
see.
sane people can get guns and still do stupid things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
here's my take on the murder suicide type of stuff. You pussy if you do something like that.
Mine
And
too.
like, I mean, I'm being serious. Like, you pussy if you murder suicide, right? You hear it all the time. Husband goes in, kills his wife and all the kids, then he turns around and kills himself, right? My thing is that if you gonna kill somebody, sit there, make your sandwich and wait for the police.
That what
Hold
it should
yourself
say, stand on
accountable.
business. Stand on
Cause
it.
cause I'm sorry. I don't like people who commit suicide and take people with them. That is a pet peeve of mine. I'm sorry.
Mm.
And this is coming from someone who suffers from mental illness and someone who has had suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. Like, hello, I'm saying it. I think it is a cowardly thing to do when you want to commit suicide and you take other people with you.
Mm.
That is a pussy ass move to me.
I agree.
Pussy move to me. And for you to take someone's life and then turn around and kill yourself, that is a pussy ass move. I'm sorry. If you gonna kill somebody and stand there, make your sandwiches, stand there and wait for the police, and you face your consequences. Whether that's the family coming after you, whether that's prison justice, whether that's the death penalty, whatever that is, stand on that shit. Don't kill yourself afterwards. You taking the easy way out.
Right.
Stand there and take your consequence. If you
Absolutely.
gonna kill somebody, that's just all I'm saying. I mean,
I
I
do.
ain't scared to. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. But you know, I just don't. These it's just so hard to read these stories because you don't want to make the assumption, you don't want to speculate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what were the signs before?
Right.
Even in our small community, uh, we we were personally involved in a domestic dispute that caused one of our friends' lives to be taken. And it's like, what were the red flags? Yes, this woman said she would kill her. We heard it.
And we did
And
not
of
believe
course,
it.
it's like one of those, oh, she just pissed. Oh, she don't mean it, you know. And
She waited
we
and she
found
waited.
out that the girl was dead and she was murdered. Like it was almost second nature that we automatically knew
Yep.
who did it. Like when we got the news of her death, we didn't get the details of it. We didn't know if it was an accident. We just didn't know. Once we found out that it was a murder, like it was a homicide, I mean, it was like, oh, yep, they did it. Such and such did it. Like, because we knew, it was like we knew automatically. And then, of course, the story started coming out a lot more. And then, of course, she did it. But we started thinking back on some of the things, and we was like, we missed that.
Mm-hmm.
We missed that. And we heard that girl say, I'll fucking kill you.
So should we at this
I'll,
point?
I'll, I will fucking kill. We heard her say that. And we sat there and we laughed it off. We sat there and we laughed it off because it was so normal for them to talk that way to each other
Right.
Yep.
and to go
Uh,
in on each other like that. Like we would have like,
yeah.
come on.
Should we take people serious like from here on out when they speak like that? Because some people just say, "Well, I kill you." You know what I'm saying? If you do that, and they say it jokingly. So at
I
what
think
point? At what point
I'm gonna
serious?
intensify. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I don't put shit past nobody no more. I don't put nothing past nobody anymore. I mean, just think about all the things that are happening today. I would have never been able to fathom that a father would shoot their children. I would have never fathomed that a husband would kill his whole family. Like it,
It blows my mind as
oh
well.
it
my,
does.
it
It
a
does.
100% blows my mind, and I can't imagine someone going to that extreme of
Mm-hmm.
domestic
Mm-hmm.
violence
Mm-hmm.
to hurt someone that you say that you love so much. And
Mm-hmm.
don't get it twisted. I love my wife. I'm obsessed. I tell people all the time, I'm obsessed with my wife. Um, because she smells like cocoa butter. Like she smells like cocoa butter and brown sugar. Y'all know how it is. Come on, she got the naturally curly hair. Anywho, but me and her share locations. And I don't ever want people to think that me and her sharing locations is a controlling factor in our relationship, because it is not.
It's not.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
So
I
safety
want to
fact.
make sure that she's safe, and I want her to make sure that I'm safe, because I do suffer from mental illness. I do have a neurological disease that anything can happen to me. I need somebody to find me. But there are instances where your girlfriend got your location because she that bitch, and she will pull the fuck up and
Mm-hmm.
don't care and will kill you and everybody else in that house.
Yeah.
I think you have to also look at when I start getting to know you. I think we are, as masculine presenting females, we have to go through the stages, guys. Get to know, date, fiance, wife, or excuse me, date, girlfriend, excuse me, girlfriend, then date, then become a fiance, then a wife. I believe in today's society we might not have had to do that before. Um, but I think that that's very important that we do it now. And I say
I'm
that
sorry,
because
that don't even help, because you still don't know that person. I'm just being honest. Like,
but I feel
how
I'm gonna
many?
say that because I'm gonna say, for me, if I get to know you and then I date you, dating me is like the prelude to the marriage that we're going to have.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We've heard stories time and time again where people have been with their partners for years, and one thing set them off or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's a murder suicide or whatever. Or I mean, I can't put time on it because anything can happen. And yeah, I'm not gonna put no
It's
time on
that
it. Like I could spend years with somebody and still not really know them. And it could be that you are my everything. You are my all. You are everything that I have. And if I don't have you and if I lose you, I have lost a piece of myself because I've put so much into you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could think on a financial sense of if you walk away from me, what does that look like financially? Am I going to financially struggle? I may not have anything. I already don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and you are my out. And now you breaking up with me. I really don't have nothing because your car is the car I've been driving. Your house is the house I've been sleeping in. Like, I mean, I'm
I
just
get
putting
it. I get it.
scenarios out
Yeah,
there.
that's
No,
right.
I
You're
get it. I
right.
get
You
it.
speaking.
now it's their mental. It's their mental
Yeah.
now that's being messed with.
Exactly. You
And
know,
everybody's mental state is not at a peaceful rate.
listen, I'm always gonna believe a bitch when she say if I can't have you, nobody else will.
Oh,
Um,
and I'm running. I'm running
Yeah.
I'm
behind. I'm
always gonna
running.
believe that bitch.
Right.
Oh, okay.
My fat
You
ass is
you will
running.
kill me.
Yes, I'm running like the wind. Where is that? Where the nearest MARTA bus? I'm getting the hell on, getting in my car, whatever. No, don't love me to death. I'm okay. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's cute. Don't get me wrong. I understand the cuteness of, oh, baby, I love you to death. What you mean?
Right.
No. And I understand it. And that I think that, like I said, I feel like it is a get to know you. I got to get to know you because I think, and I only say this in the fact that I think that sometimes we jump so quick to be in relationships. Like you said, I want
Mm,
that controlling moment. I want to control her. That I give, and we all know, and we've all talked about the party manners. You get that 30 days or what, however long that person can hold on to that, what they wish they could be, not who they are, but who they wish they could be, comes into play as well. So I do think that I feel like sometimes that dating is important, that taking the slow route, taking every phase of the relationship to make sure that you have somebody. And I'm never gonna tell somebody leave the person because they're a little out there. Um, but I also feel like if you want to be in that relationship and you are listening to your partner saying, that's I don't like the way you treat me when you do this. I don't like when you do that. And she's not giving you any reason. Now we all gotta understand it is a two-way street. Don't provoke me either.
Mhm.
That we don't want, you know what I'm saying? And we know that happens as well. What I'm saying is if you see that red flag, your film sees that red flag or your partner sees that red flag, that they address it with you. And if you cannot find a way to fix it, or they don't, or you don't know how, and they don't know how to help you, then you might have to look at maybe we don't work well together. And I know people go, oh, but I love you. I might have to love you from afar,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing wrong with that either. Um,
You got to be able to recognize that 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 pattern, though. You have to be able to recognize it. And so a lot of people they don't see that. Like me, I've never been in it. In, growing up, I put it like this: like growing up in my household,
mm,
I never had to see all that. It wasn't until I got to be an adult when I finally uh start being in relationships, and you get into your wrong relationships, and the relationships lead to one way, and you be like, oh, this girl look crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm out, and you end up it's experience. That's the word I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? You go through a little experience, then you be like, okay, I know to recognize these signs.
absolutely.
Right.
But do you think that, and I'm gonna ask this, do you think that having, if I meet the girl and I'm toxic or slightly toxic, whichever, and do you feel that because we jumped in so quick, we had sex so quick, that also triggers stuff, that also could be a trigger of the control or of the
Yeah.
narcissistic,
Yeah.
element?
Yeah, soul ties are real. Soul ties are real. They think people think that it's just soul ties between a male and a female, but that's it can be male and male, female and female. When you get to that level of sexual activity, it changes the game. It changes for real, for real, for real. So you have to be extra careful and protect yourself from those from that type of spiritual warfare.
What you got for us, Big C?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with intensify.
Oh,
Preach, bro.
oh.
Preach.
But you know what? I was thinking about something that Intensify was saying when she said it's something that when she was younger she didn't see things like that.
Mhm.
Um, I think is a traditional curse, so to say. Like if that's what you're used to, what you're brought up on, is that what you kind of go into as your older age? Like I'm like you, Intensify. I've never experienced anything like that myself.
No,
So
yeah, that's why I said what I was saying is I never had to go through that. I never had to see those. I never had to see those manipulative ways, or what I'm saying, people coming, the narcissistic way. I didn't have to see that. you
Mhm.
know. But it wasn't until I lived a little and I had more experience and I started recognizing things. You know what I'm saying? And everybody not, spiritual, but you know what I'm saying? I am, but like, so I started praying about stuff, opening my eyes to see certain things, and you have to actually be able to be open to receiving what you see and what you hear. Like, what I'm saying? Like Max said it earlier. You know what I'm saying? You got to you believe what people tell you. You believe what people tell you. You believe what people show you. And we tend to, take it. We tend to not take it serious. Like you said, y'all was a witness to y'all. Not a witness, but y'all had a friend that y'all had to go through that with. Um, we don't take it serious. When people saying, I'm about to kill you, you gotta believe that. It ain't, it
Absolutely.
ain't, it ain't, that's not a joke. Don't play with me like that around. Don't play with me around like that. If you seriously feeling like that, let's talk about it.
And do you feel that sometimes these, because I I love that person and they love me, I'm willing to sacrifice my boundaries, and that could be some of the toxicity that the other person has
Of
as
course.
well.
Of course. Of course. I had to learn that too.
So
You know,
guys, I know we're not going to solve this. Of course, we're not going to solve it, right? What are your suggestions? Let's give the people something that they can possibly do that might be and I agree with perseverance on the level of therapy. You have to want that and be able to trust and know who you're willing to trust. Like Max also gave you a description, said, hey, I'm not gonna sit down with a white man because what the white man gonna say to me? He cannot understand where my struggle is or my journey, so he might not be able. I'm not saying that he can't, but she felt like he might not be able to. And in Perseverance's thing about the fact that it's a person, that person might just as toxic, just off the rip. What can we say to people today that could possibly, I ain't saying we're gonna save no lives, but there might be a stud out there that is at that threshold of walking into that toxic moment of their life. What can we right now today, what can we give them to possibly help or de-escalate maybe?
Don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore the red flags. It's
think
it's
about
hard to
yourself.
yeah,
Say that again.
agreed.
I'm sorry, Perseverance.
Think about yourself.
Think about yourself. Okay.
Yep. Because if you take somebody else's life, number one is then you take your own. But if you take somebody else's life, who are you? You're not God. You can't judge it. But think about you. Think about how it's gonna hurt you and your family. It's you got people up under you too. You got people who look up to you. It's not just you in this world. So think about how you're gonna hurt somebody else, not just yourself, and what kind of satisfaction are you gonna get from it?
I'm gonna throw it out there, and people, aren't liking the word that much, but You might need a mentor. And it doesn't have, and I'm gonna say this, it ain't gotta be an old stud. It's gotta be somebody that you possibly feel the first step of trust with, that can help you get the next step to therapy. So I think that a mentor is something nice. I do, what's something else that they can possibly do that we can
Oh,
suggest?
self-love. You gotta love yourself.
Give them, if you don't mind, if you have an example of what that might look like or what they might be able to do.
That means like not allowing yourself to go through things just in the name of love.
Mm,
Um, just dealing with anything just to say, oh well, I love her or I love him or whatever. Like, case in point, you're not happy, you're not getting what you need from the relationship, but you stay because you in love or whatever. Just not loving yourself enough to know when to walk away or when to sit down and have that conversation. um you know so just that's one main thing.
thank you. What that we had not touched on the walk away. I know, I'm sure all of us on here have had to walk away. And that was hard. I know for me it has been hard. It was very hard. There are several times I had to make the decision that I needed to walk away. And it wasn't that there was anything bad really happening. It's just it wasn't feeling the same. We were arguing. I didn't like that, whatever the case may be. But I do know that, and I will say this to those that are listening to us, walking away ain't easy. It's not easy, and I agree with my brothers when they say self-love. Self-love is the walk away. Knowing you will be okay. You will never forget the pain, but you will be okay. And I think we have to take into account that it is hard to walk away. It is a hard thing to do when you have to walk away from someone that you've been that you say you love. Any other suggestions that we might be able to give?
Learn how to be self and emotionally aware.
Talk to them about that. What's that mean?
I mean, know what your triggers are. Know what pushes your buttons. Know, like, understand that's part of that self-care, self-love type of stuff. Um I know what grinds my, like, I know what'll piss me off. I try to make sure that I'm aware of when it's getting ready to get to that point. You
Gotcha.
know what I'm saying? Like that part. I don't ever want to get myself out of character how I used to be.
Interesting.
um
I don't want to be that person anymore. So just being more aware of yourself emotionally and stop sleeping with everybody. Shit. Fuck,
yeah,
man. My bro said soul ties are real, and that shit be for real though. No, like seriously, like you have no idea how much sex can attach you spiritually to someone. And add some trauma on top of that. That can be some bad news. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
um everybody ain't meant for your cookies. Nah,
speak,
shit.
bro.
Everybody
I
ain't
mean,
meant for the everybody
it's
ain't
a
meant for the coin purse.
it's the
Seriously.
sexual energy exchange itself. That's what
Yes.
sex is in
It
itself.
like
An
it
energy
trans
exchange.
I'm telling you, it can transform into something so beautiful, or it could be something so, like that's how powerful sex is.
Yeah. And one other thing, bro, that I wanted to say that could probably help, like, for like the people who could be potential victims of, you know, fatal attractions, I guess. Like knowing the types of domestic violence, because people think that like domestic violence is just like physical, but no, it can be psychological, like emotional, it can be financial, digital now because we have social media, verbal, spiritual,
Mm,
harassment. Like it's
mm.
all different types of domestic violence. So that's what we mean by those red flags. It doesn't have to just mean putting your hands on me. It can
Exactly.
just mean something simple as belittling me. You know what I'm
Isolation.
saying? Or yeah, or using
Isolation. Yep.
yeah,
Mm.
all that.
And I
Um,
just learned about the, I did not even know somebody said something about some financial abuse. I was like, what is that? And
yeah, like when people use their money, power, I guess, over people to control the relationship as well.
I had no idea. Somebody said to me, I went, what? I said, let me put that on my list, because I had no idea. I know that, of
Mhm.
course, I knew others, emotional, physically, spiritual, but I did not think of financial in any form of fashion when talking to other people. Um, so we are gonna wrap it up. I want my brothers to give you, their last statements, if I can, if you will. Max.
I don't have no last. They just stop having all this sex. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, just
I get it.
your
I'm gonna
body is a
say
temple.
for real, man. I'm gonna say keep your hands to yourself, man. For real, like coming
Keep your
from a
hands to
former,
yourself. Yes, that is true.
coming from a former Ike Turner and Floyd
Okay.
Mayweather. I have graduated from that. I ain't put my hands on a woman in over 10 years. I mean,
I'm so proud of you.
keep your hands to yourself. You want to put your hands on somebody, hit your children. You don't put your hands on nobody else child now. Just stop doing that. It ain't cool.
Mhm.
If you can't talk, walk off, cool off, come back, try it again.
I like that. Thank you. What you got for us? Perseverance.
Communication, number one, is key to any relationship, longevity. Um, y'all gotta learn to communicate and talk with each other because
Amen.
you don't just snap overnight for nothing. There's something that has led up to it. And until you get to the root of what's the problem, then your relationship itself is a bust, and you got to learn to trust each other. Just get you some help, some kind of way.
And I'll say this, I am sure that the woman that is your partner, the femme, she has said what is wrong. She has asked for you to get help. Or she has said, I don't like that. You've stepped over the boundaries. And we have a tendency to just ignore that and keep doing what we want to do. Um, I am also gonna say, please, I am a big fan of therapy. I know, my bruh is right. You have to be prepared you have to want the therapy, and you have to be in a mindset where you are willing to trust an outside person who has no knowledge of you. And then be truthful when you talk to them. I appreciate my bros. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules, because I know my bros are very busy all the time. And I appreciate them coming on here and dropping a couple of jewels here and there. And hopefully, we might not save nobody's life, okay, guys, but we want y'all to think. Again, take this conversation that we had today, take it offline with other studs. And if you're listening to this, take it to your stud friends, because you never know. You never know. And listen, friends, when you hear your friends say something about I'm a killer or all of that, help them. Help them get some help for that. Don't just go laughing and thinking that's funny, because people right now, it is becoming a little bit of an epidemic where we're seeing studs killing their girlfriends, shooting them, stabbing them, and it's horrible. That is not what we want. We are here to love each other. Again, I thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in to Shooting the Shit with the Brothers of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We hope that you have a blessed day, blessed weekend, blessed evening, however you're listening to us, and we will be back again. Thank you.